Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life in Pages, which is a program by Books to Africa, where we interview interesting guests, like our first guest today, about their life, their experiences, and yeah, what we can learn from it for positive change, for action, for reflection, for just motivation, really, and getting ourselves better along our way in life, of course. So my name is Thompson Sango. I'm one of the directors of Books to Africa. I've got Jiko with me, who is our marketing supervisor. And I've also got our special guest, who is Martha Diana. And she's the author, amongst many other things, obviously, of this special book, So You Feel Stuck in Your Career. Okay, and it's got a very long subtitle there, 20 thought-provoking ideas and 100 plus self-coaching tools to awaken your inner guru and get you moving boldly. Okay, so we're here to talk to Martha today about her book and about her life experiences. So, hello, Martha.
Hey, thank you so much, Thompson, for having me, and thank you, Gicho, for making it happen.
No, we're really glad that you decided to come on the show, and thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for your support. And yeah, thank you for giving us the next 30 minutes to have a frank, honest conversation about, your book.
I am super excited and looking forward to sharing. Yeah, actually, I'm just reflecting. It's been a year now since the book was released, almost a year. So it's a good moment to have this conversation for me as well. So yeah, let's do it.
Definitely. And guys, we're going to put links to obviously where you can get the book, Amazon, and all over the place in Kenya, in Africa, wherever you are. We're going to put some links later to get the book, so you feel stuck in your career. So let's talk about being stuck in one's career. I mean, you've traveled the world, of course. How many countries have you been to, Martha?
Maybe 17, 18, close, just a few.
Just a few, of course, very modest there. And from all your travels, I mean, what is the secret, I guess? I mean, without, obviously, I know we need to buy the book, but what would you say is kind of the secret to getting unstuck in your career?
I like that question, actually, because if I combine the two, the travels, how travel has shaped me and how it has helped me as well evolve my career and my business as well, I think I draw a lot of my everyday traits and mindsets and approaches from travel. So specifically, I think how travel has molded me over the years is it's really, really helped me to, of course, grow my intercultural competence. Yeah, like if you travel 17 countries, I've also worked a lot. I've worked my whole career in the global space. So I've worked with thousands of people, hundreds of different countries. And that has really helped me be able to plug in and play in different scenarios, a lot of diversity, really grown my ability to adapt and be agile because when you're jumping in and out of different cultures, different people, different perspectives, different ways of being and doing business, agility and adaptation is very key for you to succeed in those environments. And most importantly for me, I think, has been how much travel has helped me sharpen my intuition and my ability to trust myself, which then has meant I could take bigger risks in my life, in business, in work, in my career. I could write this book and pour my whole life and soul to it for almost 2 years. I can follow my passion and dreams much more proactively. But also because now I work a lot with, also apart from individuals, I also work a lot with organizations across Africa. It helps me really be able to guide leaders at very high level in terms of being an advisor. When leaders look up to you and trust your your advice, you kind of just can't rely on your logic. You need some power from a different source. And so traveling and being out there in the unknown has really sharpened that ability for me as well. So yeah. And then to summarize all that, right? Like trusting yourself, being more bold, taking risks, being able to plug and play in different situations, agility and adaptability, those are the master traits, the secrets for not being stuck, right? So
I want to
yeah.
pick up on what you said about trust, because you said, obviously, many of you might not know this, and actually, I'll give you a moment, Martha, to maybe tell us a little bit about your background and what kind of, what journey you've taken in life, as it were. But you mentioned about trust and how, like you said, the people you coach or the leaders you work with trust you, right? And also, I noticed in your book, you say that you introduce yourself as a friend you can trust. Is trusting yourself important to is it an important step to getting others to trust you, if that makes sense?
I think there's some truth there, because if you trust yourself, then it gives you some sort of conviction in how you show up, in how you communicate, in how you advise and guide others. And that conviction is very subtle, and it's what other people will connect with. So I think the opposite of that is maybe you're anxious or you're worried or you're not expressing your thoughts clearly because you're stuck in some energy of doubt. So then, of course, if you're working with talking to someone or trying to advise someone, then of course they will sense that energy, and then they'll be doubtful of you. So yeah, I've never put it like that, but it's an interesting way to connect how trusting ourselves also helps others trust us. Yeah.
And one thing you said about, because obviously as you travel around the world, maybe just tell people a little bit about your background, especially you've been a teacher, you've been a recruiter, a coach, an entrepreneur, a management consultant, a researcher, a farm manager,
everything.
So many things. So I mean, in a very short period of time, because I know we could be here forever, give people kind of because I know in your book you said something about, which I really love. You said, when you think about your career, think about what you're good at, not what your resume says. But
yeah,
so in a sense, I want you to kind of give people what your resume is, and then give them the contrast of what actually your passion is, or what you're really good at.
Wow, those are two different questions. Where do I start? I can start with a little bit of my
tell
background.
People about your resume, just like a snapshot of bullet points.
A snapshot of my resume. So let me start from currently. I am a management consultant. I'm an entrepreneur. I run my own consulting firm. We are based in Nairobi, but we work with organizations across Africa. A lot of our work is providing advisory and thought leadership to growing organizations and leaders on areas of talent and human capital and leadership development as they are growing in very accelerated paces. How do they think strategically and intentionally about the type of teams they need to deliver their ambitions? And then I also work with individuals who are reinventing or transforming their lives and careers towards maybe getting unstuck or doing something much more meaningful, or finally starting that side hustle. So anybody who is looking for a change in their career, in their lives, and they want that extra support and boost and tools to be able to do that in a much more faster way. That's where a coach comes in. A coach helps you achieve your goals faster than you can by yourself. So I work with individuals on that as well. But before that, yes, as part of my early career, I spent about 3 years. I think I talk a lot about this on the book, The Power. There's a whole chapter, experiment. I am screaming in that chapter, like literally. And that's also why when you look at my background, there's a lot of like all these different things that I've done. Because I spent at least 3 years of my early career just experimenting, try to find out what am I really good at, and is what people tell me I'm good at, do I actually love it? Like, do I love to spend time doing that? Because sometimes you can be good at something, but it's not as maybe it's a skill that you've grown over time, but it doesn't bring you joy. You're not passionate about it. You're just good at it. I can do this. I can do this, but I don't really like it. So I spent 3 years doing that. And in that time, I worked in India for a global consulting firm as a top recruiter. And I managed a global career acceleration program. I also worked in Tanzania as well for a leadership development program where I was overseeing the national chapter, again, in terms of organizational development and talent and getting young people ready for their first job, and working with organizations to figure out how do we get them, like, how do we develop self-leadership? How do we develop their ability to like contribute to the society? And how do we also develop them in terms of the core skills they need to succeed in their first job? So I spent a bit of time doing that. And then I also worked in Kenya at some point in a hospital, in an international hospital, in recruitment as well. So all these experiences, different countries, different places, they really helped me keep refining at a very young age. What's the direction? How do I want to contribute? What are my strengths? What are some of the things that I don't want to be in my resume as I grow? So that was my whole journey there. But then also in campus, I spent a lot of time doing part-time things and being part of volunteer programs and working during holidays. So that's where some of those like project manager, events, computer, farm manager, like I was managing my uncle's farm during holidays. That was fun. So I gathered a lot of skills such that by the time I graduated, I was like maybe 2 years ahead of everybody who was graduating with me who didn't have all these diverse experiences, right? So I was a bit at a higher level than just a normal entry level person. So yeah, those are the key highlights. And I think overall for me, what my resume is about, it's about leadership development. It's about organizations that are transforming societies. And it's about how do we do that in sustainable, innovative, and conscious ways. So I'm now channeling most of my efforts in creating that.
That's amazing. Thank you for that answer. I think you've done that very well. So let's talk to somebody who is stuck or feeling stuck, because in your book you said this feeling you call stuck is an invitation to pause. Right?
Yeah.
So, and obviously I associate that, because I'm a busy person. We're all busy people, and most people don't never stop. I mean, when we think of a pause, we think of a holiday, right? So it's
yeah,
of traveling, and so there's a sense of when you travel, you're supposed to take a pause and reflect. So
yeah.
I mean, what would you say to somebody who feels like they're just stuck right now in their career? They don't know where to begin from. I mean, is that the first thing they should do? Like take a pause?
Take a pause, yes. My coach likes to say that space is where miracles happen. Yeah, so I think when we feel stuck, we are also stuck in very different, diverse, complex situations, right? I might be stuck in my job, but I'm a CFO of a company. I'm earning $10,000 a month, So my reality of how to manage my stuckness is different from I'm a middle junior person who is only earning way much less, and I'm still supporting half of my family. So So I think first you need to be conscious around. If you're stuck, yes, you need to be conscious. The first step is to pause and simply reflect on how did you get here, right? Like what's that story? What are the decisions that brought you to this moment? And the whole book is about, that's why there are a lot of questions to help you reflect. What are all the decisions? What are all the eventful moments in your career that this feeling of being stuck actually started happening? Because you just don't wake up and then you're like, oh, I'm stuck. I hate my job. I don't like my workplace. This place doesn't support my well-being. I haven't been pursuing my hobbies and my talents. I'm doing a job that drains me. Like, you just don't wake up suddenly to that. Yeah. So it's to pause and then create a space where you can reflect back to the moment where the stuckness began. Because if you can walk back that timeline, you can reframe and recreate that story moving forward. But without that, it's going to be very, very difficult. So what happens is most professionals will realize I'm stuck. And then the most immediate thing to do is to get yourself unstuck. Get a new job, get a new boss, start a new hobby, find a new circle. No, you're just setting yourself up for the same cycle, and you're not getting to the root of what caused this in the first place. So the first step is to pause, take a step back, and then take several steps forward, depending on what you learn from that journey. Yeah, that's how I'll respond to that.
Wow, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. I don't know, Jiko, do you have any question at this point? Otherwise, I have a few more.
But, yes, I want to follow that question. So if we think back, as Martha, you just said, if we reflect our life and we find the problems we're facing, how do you think we should take actions? Because sometimes to take action is very difficult because you are kind of used to the stuck life.
You're used to the stuck life, yeah. There are many support systems that you will need to get out of, to now move forward, right? To recreate your life. Reading the book is one of them, right? Read the whole book one step at a time. It answers like 20 questions you will need to answer in your unstuck journey. And now, specifically, what you just said, Gicho, we are used to being stuck. That's a whole rewiring. That's where the answer to your question mostly lies there. It doesn't even lie in all the in everything else I'm gonna say, right? Because all that is gonna be external. But the internal part, the inner guru part, answer to that question is spending a lot of time first transforming how you see your world. I talk a lot in the book about our perceptions. There's a story there about how I was once walking on the beach. And then I just suddenly realized that I am thinking, but I'm not experiencing and feeling what I'm seeing. Yeah. So there's a lot of like rewiring of our perceptions and our mindsets that is needed. And again, there are levels to that, right? So is that something you can easily do by yourself by reading a couple of books and listening to a couple of videos? Or do you need extra support, which is kind of now the second point, like of support system? You probably need a coach, you probably need a therapy. When you're stuck, I come across many professionals who are also stuck emotionally from trauma, like workplace trauma. So maybe a bad boss, a toxic workplace, an event in your career that just left you totally crushed, and then you're not able to move forward to apply for a new job or to go after what you really want. So again, there's some element there of measuring what's the impact of whatever has been keeping you back, and whether you need, how much extra support do you need. There's also a lot about recreating your environment. You cannot unstuck yourself in the same space you've been. Yeah, so, and here environment, I talk a lot about circles, like what type of circles are around you, what type of people do you spend most of your time with and speaking about your career. What I see mostly is that, I mean, there's nowhere where we go to study about conscious careers and being strategic. We go to school all our lives, but nobody teaches us a curriculum for how to succeed in your professional life. And I have to figure it out, learn from others, have a mentor. We're just making it up along the way. So it's, what happens is, most people, if you're in a circle that's not thinking in the new ways that you're thinking once you worked on your mindset, or if you're in a circle that's complaining all the time, if you're in a circle that, you know, just throws their hands in the air and they're like, yeah, you know, that's how jobs are, that's how workplaces are. I mean, you remain stuck. You may want to unstuck yourself, but you're stuck in those conversations. So there's a lot to consider around the environment of the people around us, the colleagues as well, that helps with all that. So it's like a combination of several things, but it starts with the mindset shift as well. That's the first point.
Wow, that's amazing. You've got me really thinking. I mean, again, just to remind our viewers, our listeners, you know, please do check out Martha's book, So You Feel Stuck in Your Career. Okay, please check it out. It's really, really helpful, Martha. I mean, I read the book, and like I was saying to you earlier, it just feels, it's one of those books where you read and it's just, it doesn't make you feel stressed. It makes you feel hopeful. You feel like, actually, I can do this, you know?
Yeah, because you can.
Exactly, you know, like,
everybody's making this shit up, so why can't you make up your own story?
exactly. So you feel like, yeah, you know, like, I mean, and there's lots of exercises. You have lots of exercises in the book that are very actually practical for people. For example, you have the eyes closed exercise, you know, which I found very interesting, where you said, you know, you ask the question, people, you know, what is the one thing you can do when someone wakes you up at 3 a.m. with your eyes closed, that you literally can just get it done, you know? Like, is that, you know, that's obviously requires you to really be in touch with that inner self and really understand what your strengths are, right? You know, so I think that's, I mean, for young Africans, maybe, you know, as an African yourself, and you know, somebody who's traveled around the world, you know, what is your hope for this book for young African people? There are a lot of African young people who, they just want to leave Africa, they just want to go and look for greener pastures, more expensive, better pay, you know, and the hustle seems to be, oh, let's just leave Africa, let's get some well-paid job in some, it doesn't even matter what the career is, it doesn't matter what the industry is, just leave, you know, just go for it. I mean, what would you say to them? And what would you suggest from, based on, you know, why they should read this book?
So I think there are 2 points here. I mean, the book cuts across all generations. Yeah, so it's, I write stories there of people in their 5th decade of their lives suddenly realizing that, wow, how have I been creating my career for the last 20, 30 years? Why did somebody never tell me this all this time, right? So first of all, the book cuts across all generations. And there are so many ways to answer the question of living. I think, because I've also left, like I worked abroad for 2 years, yeah. It's about being strategic and intentional about what you are going after. Yeah. So and the book a lot also, and my mindset also in coaching is around, there's a lot we can do. There are so many opportunities out in the world, but we need to be led by how strategic is this and how intentional is this for me. and to create the life that I want and to use the talents and skills that I have. So if there are no opportunities in your country and you see an opportunity somewhere else and you truly believe in the moment that's the opportunity that will take you to the next level, then go and do the best to get to that next level, but then know what is the next level after that next level, right? So you can't just go blindly, oh, let's go, there are opportunities in this country, let's go there. And it doesn't matter what it is. Like if all you want is to make money, go make lots of money, but do something with the money. Create your life with the money. Invest the money. If you're going because I know sometimes I've met people who just have to go because the specific career path they are on in the country they are in doesn't provide them the right exposure for them to create the impact and for them to use all their talents and skills. So then they need to seek opportunities abroad. So then do that, like go get the experience, but then know, why am I getting that experience and how do I want to use it? If I work there for 5 years, do I want to keep contributing there? Do I want to move to another market? So take a moment and think fast. Why do I want to live? And where am I going and to seek what? And how is that going to help me get to the next level? And if all of us can think that way, then there's no, because there's a lot of talk around brainwashing and all that stuff, then that becomes it's still like a big issue globally, of course. But then that sort of like thinking of being strategic and intentional sort of somehow transcends that issue, because then people are making much more independent decisions driven by a lot of critical thinking, not just following the moves and the trends blindly. But I also think, I may not be very sure right now where the field is, but I think in the last couple of years, more people are seeking opportunities where they are, yeah, because there are also more opportunities where they are, but you need to open your eyes to actually see them and find them. So, yeah.
And your book definitely will open some eyes out there. So let me, I mean, time has really gone by very quickly and we only actually have
that's
yeah, I know, right? We always try to bring our viewers, some kind of, get to know our guest a bit more closely. And so I'll give you two straightforward final questions. What else do you do in your leisure time, apart from obviously all the amazing things you're doing? And can you recommend one book other than yours, of course, to our audience?
So I do a lot of things. I'm one of those multi-talented, multi-interested people. So I also read a lot, and I guess reading and writing go together. I do a lot of mindfulness work and yoga. And I also love just going on a walk on the beach. I love music. So I spent the last 2-3 weeks, I've really spent a lot of time finding new music bands and new genres of music.
Your Bluetooth speaker, how is it? Have you got a new one now, your Bluetooth speaker?
No, now because I'm traveling, I don't have my Bluetooth speaker, but I'm currently listening to Dance Fever by Florence and the Machine. It's her latest album. It's epic. She wrote it in the last 2 years. And if you know Florence and the Machine, she's like, she doesn't exist here in this world. She lives in a different realm. So she's singing about all this deep human issues, but it's such a beautiful way that just makes you want to dance and celebrate, even despite all the chaos of the world in the last 2-3 years. So yeah, that's my current obsession. Any book I would recommend? Wow, let's see. Now that I have to think, you know how many books I read in a year? I think, okay, so I'll do 2. So currently I'm reading a book that's, I've forgotten the name and I don't know where it is, but it's about, I think the guy is called Paul Thorex or something, from Cairo to South Africa.
Oh.
It's about an American guy who traveled by road and all other possible means from Cairo to South Africa, like 30 or a couple of years ago, many years ago. But he had just come back to Africa after about 40 years. He used to work in Zambia as a teacher. Then he came back after 40 years just to explore the continent and all that. And it's been really fascinating. I'm currently in the border of Ethiopia and Kenya. He's just about to cross to come down to Moyale. And it's been so fascinating just traveling through the different countries and the different from Cairo all the way now to Ethiopia. And interestingly, seeing how some of the challenges that were there 40, 50 years ago are still some of the challenges that we are facing right now. You know, there are times when I'm like, huh, didn't that happen like last week? Yeah. So it's such a fascinating book that I would recommend to everyone. If you're interested in the continent, if you're interested in a lot of these like social issues and travel. Yeah. And then the second book is, I have a book that I call my Bible. It's called The Women Who Run with the Wolves by Dr. Pikansala. And I love that book. Like I've read it like 5 times for the last 5 years. And it's for you if you're really, really interested in sharpening your intuition, following your gut, going after your dreams, and really transcending all the baggage and the society stuff that holds you back from succeeding and from taking the next step. Now, the book is written for women, so it has a lot of feminine, creative energy. But to be honest, the lessons and the factors cut across all gender. So it's a great book. I would recommend to everyone.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Martha. I think that's all we've got time for today. Unfortunately, I'm sure we'll definitely have you back another time. Thank you so much for spending time with us this afternoon, and really appreciate you. We're gonna have again links to the book, guys. You know, so you feel stuck. If you feel stuck in your career, there it is. That's it. Yellow cover there. If you feel stuck in your career, we're gonna put links for you guys to check it out. But of course, it's available on Amazon. Where else can you get it from, Martha, in Kenya?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon from anywhere in the world, and you can also get it if you're based in Kenya. You can get it from Somanami Bookshop, the Writers Guild at Hazina Towers in CBD, online on Nuria Bookstore. And if you also love to gift someone, you can get a gift pack from Pat Street's Kayana, and you can find all those on Instagram and just inbox them. They have several copies.
Thank you very much. We're going to put all the Instagram links and all the social links so people can find Martha as well. Thank you so much, Martha. Thank you guys for watching. We'll have somebody else for you next time, and we look forward to it. Thank you, Jiko, for co-hosting. And see you on the next one.
Thank you so much, guys. This was fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.